Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here, and welcome to another bonus episode of the One Man Podcast, guys, brought to you by Absolute Comedy. I'm here today with a good buddy of mine. I love watching this guy. We really only get to see each other primarily on social media, watching each other's stories and all the fun stuff going on. He is an amazing comedian, super accomplished actor on both television and film. You are, dude. Brian Scolaro is here with me today. Brian,
Hi.
thank you so much for being a part of this.
My
buddy.
pleasure. It's good to see you again. Finally, somewhere not cold. We don't have the pressure of performing.
Right?
Usually when I see you, we both have to go on stage. This is nice to just relax for once.
Right?
Yeah.
We're hanging out at your place. Thank you so much for welcoming
I
me
appreciate you driving here. It was sheer laziness.
That's fine. Hey, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. So I was more than happy to. Your time is worth something.
You enjoying your trip?
What's that? My shrimp?
Are you
Yes.
enjoying your trip?
The trip. Yeah.
No, I'm not
I
sure.
thought it was really. Oh, this platter you've laid out
You
for
think
us.
we're doing improv here? No, I'm just asking if you enjoyed your trip.
Dude, the trip was fine. I hated the flying. The flying
That's
sucked.
why I always get annoyed when I fly to Ottawa to perform. It's like, there's a fucking Tuesday show. It's like, I just flew fucking 7 hours, you know, and I land. Nobody picks you up from the airport, and you go right to fuck. And you go right to work. It's fucking exhausting.
He's alive still, by the way.
I'm fine.
We're just editing other things.
All that shrimp. Anyway, yeah. So it's nice to see you.
Good to see you too, dude.
Thanks.
And this is the first time I actually have a co-pilot on the interview. Mike LeBlanc, my buddy here, comic.
everybody.
He's made the trip with me, so we've been doing everything together. It's funny enough too, because this episode is going to come out on Friday.
Okay.
Right after an episode that we haven't recorded yet will come out. So they'll have heard him lots by the time that we
Okay,
have.
'cause I was just saying, one man podcast. I was like, I don't
Right.
know if that's a good title for this.
Do you know what it
There's
was?
another guy sitting right there.
Yeah. So the way I got out of that originally with interviews was I'm like, oh, the regular episode, I'm the one man. On the interviews, the guest is the one man.
Yeah, I guess that's
Right.
two people.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize everything in comedy was always accurate.
We should start over. I think we stumbled on the shrimp thing and never recovered.
I think this is more interesting than any kind of articulated
suppose.
conversation.
I don't know. It's good to see you, though.
Dude, it's great to see you too. And thank you so much. So Mikey's going to be here too. He'll be, chiming in and stuff like that too. So I'm happy to have him. He's going to be part of all my interviews while we're here. And
Great.
Yeah. Dude, this is my first interview in America. No, that's not true. Second.
Yeah, you did Verzi.
Yeah. My first interview in California.
Okay.
It's most important to me.
That is.
You went somewhere before this.
Well, not in this trip.
What?
Not in this trip,
Okay,
but
okay.
I've done one interview on stateside last
Okay.
year.
Okay.
But this is my first one. This is the first one where I wasn't freezing my ass off.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you that last trip home, the last trip to Ottawa, could not wait to leave. It was December. It was right before Christmas, and I was furious with how cold it was. Just that one block walk from Absolute to the condo was torture. And I would just record Instagram videos and just curse out Canada.
But you know what that is?
What?
That's your body's natural instinct. Because you get mad, your blood boils, and it keeps you warm.
I was so pissed. I was like, why would anybody fucking live here?
Yeah.
It was so goddamn cold.
We're not happy with it either. By the way, we opened the door. We're like, are you fucking kidding me? That's me every fucking day from January till.
That's why nobody lives there. There's more people in this apartment building than there is in Canada.
I think so.
Yeah.
I always, every time I get out the door and I go, why? I have a car. Why don't I just move?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
it's I do like the people there. One thing I hate about Canada, as a visitor, you always think you're going to get laid because the women are so nice. And then they don't. They're just really nice. You're like, wow, this girl likes me. Nah, she's just Canadian. That's what I've noticed so often.
So if a woman here is nice to me, that means she's going to fuck me? I just assumed they were nice.
No, there's
I'm
a-
getting it backwards in
What
here.
I'm saying is there's a better, if they're talking to you here for a long period of time, there's a better chance that they like you.
Wow. I just thought everyone was being polite.
No, that's just, no.
I'm like, we're having a conversation. Someone's like, dude, she talked to you for 5 minutes. She wants to.
No,
Can you imagine?
It's got to be a lot longer than that.
No, of course.
Although I did one
but can you
time-
imagine if that was the barometer and I've just like this whole time, I'm like, do you know how many fucking people I talked to?
It's fucking Canada. I remember there was a girl here once who spoke to me for 45 minutes at the Comedy Store. Just kept talking to me for 45 minutes. And I was like, wow, I think she likes me. And then like I turned, a fan came up to me and I said hi to the fan, turned around. The girl was running down the street like Like she couldn't wait to get away, like a cat waiting for the door to be open.
Right.
Like it was just like she bolted, waiting just for an opening. So I was like, oh, she didn't like me. I just apparently was harassing her.
Right.
I never know that there's a fine line. You never know you're harassing somebody. Harassing somebody means they just don't like it.
Right.
To me.
Right.
It's like I'm talking to you and you're talking to me. How am I supposed to know I'm bothering you until I fucking hear about this later?
No, you have to wait for it to be written in a blog.
Yeah, and they go,
Like,
shit.
Yeah, I thought I could whip my dick out, and you said yes. No, I'm kidding.
I never.
No,
Just making sure.
I'm going to edit that part out when you said I never.
okay,
That
but
part's
you-
that's the only part of the podcast I'm
We
going to edit
still have
out.
never recovered from shrimp. Yeah, sorry.
That would be funny if I just take everything we talk about out except for, hey, how do you enjoy the trip? The shrimp?
Shrimp.
Well, thanks for chatting with us today, Brian. It was
It's my first one in America.
that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's been a fun trip so far.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm eating
Good.
like an American.
There's good stuff here.
Yeah, and I'm lucky too because I look like an American, so no one assumes
do
that
fit
I'm
in,
Canadian.
you fit in
Do you know
fine.
what I mean? They see me waddling out of a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, that son of a bitch."
It's I would like chicken and waffles better if they took the fucking bones out. I want to get both in the same bite.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I maybe I was doing it wrong. I was peeling the chicken off the bones and sticking it in the waffles, wrapping it
That
up, and
sounds
eating
about
it.
right. It just I like fork and knife more you know.
Oh, I
civilized.
More
Dude,
civilized. Yeah.
yeah, but I walked in the door and I go, I gotta throw civilized out the fucking window.
Well, you're visiting. Nobody cares. But it's like it's a lot better, you know. But the weird thing is, in America, it's not poutine.
Right.
It's disco fries. In New York, they called it disco fries.
Right, but don't they
that,
use
yeah.
cheddar and like this weird thin ass
No,
gravy?
Shredded cheese.
A good place will use whatever one you want. You know, a diner will sometimes give you cheddar, but a good place will give you mozzarella.
Yeah, because mozzarella, like it's got to have like it's got to be stringy. There's not really any taste to it. Like imagine a pizza.
I like cheddar on fries.
Yeah, okay, but it's a different thing, right? I mean, cheddar on bread is
Well,
nice.
Officially, it's not cheese curd, so it's a different thing. But to me,
Right.
cheese, fries, gravy
Yeah.
is poutine.
Right.
But here, they didn't call it poutine.
Disco fries. Yeah, I've heard. But the person who told me said that they use like this thin gravy and it's cheddar, and I'm like, well, now it's a different thing. Like
Sounds same.
I like cheddar on bread, but are you
Right.
going to make a pizza and use cheddar? No, you're going to use mozzarella. It's different if you put cheddar. It's a different taste.
But yeah, so it's not poutine.
Right.
All
It's
right.
it's disco fries.
Okay.
I
But
get
I've
it.
also seen different types of poutine.
Right.
So I mean, can you really nail it down like that?
No.
Like I see.
I don't know if you know this. I'm the international minister of poutine for
Well,
Canada.
you don't want to brought up eating. What else?
I never listen. I didn't bring it up. I never put it down. All right. Eating is always on the
Right,
table
right,
for
right.
conversation.
But I like what I get when I go to Absolute. I get the meatball sandwich.
Yep.
Nice.
And poutine. Side poutine. Go eat that in front of the TV. Have to listen to the fucking middle act for 15 minutes till he goes to bed because I don't talk to him. Can you just fucking leave me alone? 44 years old.
So you don't like talking to the features?
They're nice, but I don't want to fucking live with them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes,
the
that's
condo,
right.
you
The
gotta live with
condo.
them. Yeah.
I thought you meant for 15 minutes. You fucking
Well, no, what I
while
do
they're
is-
on
what I
stage,
do is
you're
I
eating.
just, I just stonewall them until they go, he doesn't want to talk. I guess I'll go to bed. And then I jerk off all over that door.
Jason's listening.
I love Jason.
Jason doesn't listen to this fucking. Fuck you, Jay.
I've been playing Ottawa. God, I can't even remember 6, 7 times. I
Yeah, dude.
love Ottawa. I love Ottawa. I love the people. I love the club. I love Jay. I love the staff.
I don't love Jay.
Yeah.
I'm editing that part out.
It's no, I really
Just joking. I know.
I really like working that club. It's one of my favorite clubs in North America. And when they came out with that list of top 21 clubs, something like that, 18 clubs, I forgot what it was, and they had a list of the top 18 clubs in North America, and I was surprised it wasn't on there. 'Cause
Really?
Who doesn't like that room?
Yeah.
that is a wonderful room. You know where I just never feel alone when I'm on stage there. I feel like the staff is Jay makes the staff part of the show, and since like you shut down hecklers, you make it a place where everyone can enjoy themselves. And I've never had a problem there.
Yeah.
And when you play the rest of the goddamn continent, you play a lot of shit rooms where the staff doesn't do anything. In fact, the staff hurts the show.
right.
And then when there's a problem with somebody in the crowd, they blame the comic.
Right.
And I'm tired of getting blamed for.
They blame the comic.
Yeah, a lot of places blame the comic for because they don't want to say this is our fault.
Right.
You know, I remember playing a place in Seattle once where I got interrupted for about 45 minutes. It was nonsense. I'm not welcome back. And they even said to me, well, we found out it was the owner's sister. And I was like, okay, so the owner's sister heckled me for 45 minutes. and I'm not welcome back because you don't want to tell the audience this is your fault. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, just admit to me that this is not my fault. And they go, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
So I left. That's why I'll never badmouth the club because I never said the club's name. But it's like, I'm tired of that shit.
Well, it's not right either. Like, okay, so for example, Mikey, just to bring you in this, I want you to be a part of this, is have you performed at any other clubs outside of, Ottawa?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. Most of my performances have been anywhere in like independent shit shows, Like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Those go to crap.
They do, but you got to do it. You got to make your time. You got to make your bonds and something like that, and then eventually build up to doing a good club set. You want to do your best when you're in a club.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it?
I'm at 3 years now.
Okay, you got 2 more years to either quit or have fun.
That's right. Thanks.
There you go. Now you have a deadline.
I know.
I was just going to let you
Figure out
run
where I'm
forever.
Most people quit after 5 years.
Oh, well, I'm going to pass that.
And then if you pass that, then you will ensure that your life will be horrible.
Horrible. It's already
Go
there.
check in with those people who quit. They're living great lives. Go on Facebook. They have kids and they have money. I'm asking for money from them. Yeah. So if you pass the 5 years, congratulations. Your life will be shit.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
And for some reason, all those people are happy for us. They're fucking.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, man, you're chasing it. I'm like, I want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want that house and that fucking, that easy chair. Not having to leave the house every night. That seems like.
The thing is that for me, I already achieved my dream. I don't want to be famous.
Right.
I used to want to be famous, but now I don't want to be famous. So what am I doing? This job now, to sell tickets, to play the good rooms and make the good money, you have to be famous. And I don't want to be famous.
Right.
So what am I doing? I'm officially just not quitting at this point. That's my existence is just don't
quit.
get by. That's all I'm doing now. It's weird. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be famous. I hate fame.
So you tour a lot. You tour a lot around the country.
I the last 2-3 years I did pretty much nonstop, and I hated every second of it. It's fun when you can pick 10 clubs, or maybe less than that, 6 clubs, and say, I'm going to play these 6 clubs this year, and you just do that. If you have, and you do the rest, concentrate on TV. But I mean, this job is all, are you on television?
Right.
Do you have a huge Instagram following or whatever?
Credits, yeah.
But what else? Like, the road now is no longer a goal. The road now is a way for you to make money once you're famous.
Right.
But really, it's not a goal. It's more damage to your career than anything. Because the more you're on the road, the less time you're on TV, and the less time you're around. So your agents will be pissed because you're leaving town.
Yeah.
So now you've wound up hurting your career by playing the road. It's weird.
Well, and that's what I want to get back to that thing too. But you were saying about the clubs was so, Mikey. Have you done any like clubs, not like shows, or but clubs outside of Ottawa?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
outside of here in LA.
Right. No. Yes,
in the
you've
store
done.
and whatnot,
That's right. Yeah, you
and-
have done
and-
here.
Yeah.
You've seen here, and here's kind of a different dynamic,
Yeah.
whatever. But like what Brian's talking about, because I it was the same for me when I was new. Like if your first couple of years you're playing only Ottawa, you're at Absolute Comedy, and then you get a couple of road gigs and you're at Absolute Comedy Toronto and Kingston.
yeah.
You start to think, oh, this is what comedy clubs are like,
No.
and it's not. It's not at all. There's
Because
something.
Jay actually cares. A comic
Yeah.
who runs a club.
Yeah.
Usually. If a comic runs a club, it's a good club. Vinny Brand, the Stress Factory in New Jersey, for example. Tom Sims, Stir Crazy in Phoenix.
Yeah.
These are comedians who run clubs, and they do a really excellent job. David in Comedy Nest in Montreal.
Yep.
Somebody like, if a comedian runs the club, it is well run. It's
Yeah.
somebody who cares about the show, cares that because if you run a good show, even if the comic's not famous, the audience will come back.
Right.
And that's what Absolute did. That's what Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle did in Detroit. That's what these are. Like, you just run a good room, they'll come back.
Yeah, and
you
it's-
have a good staff and you have a good show.
Well, once I started doing clubs outside of, like, I would hear guys coming to Absolute that I'd work with, and they were like, "Oh, this is great," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know if it's that good." Maybe sometimes you think, "Oh, maybe they're just praising the place that they're in right now," right? That old hacky thing where like, "I love coming to," and then the person will look at the
There's a
sign
little
and
bit of that
go,
involved, but it actually
you
is
know?
a good. It's actually a well-run.
Yeah, because there's clubs. This is my understanding. I'm sure you could speak to it way more than I can. Is that like, I don't know? Have you ever heard of the check drop or the check spot?
Is it timing?
Yeah. They're right in the middle, like right near the end of the show.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
They'll come and they'll drop checks on tables in the last 15 minutes of the headliner set. And it's just, the whole room starts like, okay, you got the nachos. So okay, you guys, everyone knows me fine. Now, no one's paying attention to the show. It's the headliner's big closing part of the show, the best part of the show.
The whole show's been leading up to this.
Yeah. And it's all them just trying to get their money before. Jason at Absolute for all of his flaws, and there are many. There's a-
Right, how dare you.
Jay will discipline servers if they, for any reason, drop a check in the last 15 minutes. Like he's taken them aside, and I've watched him say, like, and for Jay, it's actually pretty good to restrain himself a little bit to go like, listen, don't ever do that again, or you're gonna be. And they're like, you know, and I've seen him tell them, like, I've seen him reprimand and everything.
He runs a good room.
Yeah, he gives a shit, and it's like people too. They ask, like, what is it that's there? It's like it's not one thing; it's little things. Servers duck in the front row so people aren't.
Key.
You know, so they can still
that's
see the
how
show.
I just played a club recently. It was nonsense. Standing up in the front row, coughing while they're serving.
Yeah, and they talk full volume, a foot away from the microphone.
And then they get mad at you. I once had a waitress tell other waitresses in Indianapolis, Brian Scolaro, he's so nice off stage, but such a dick on stage. I'm like, I was a dick to you because you were fucking the show up.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, you know why they're here. They're here for a show.
It can't possibly be you.
Yeah.
No,
if they wanted nachos and beer, they'd be at the bar across the street. They came for a show.
Yeah.
They're here to see this.
So by all means, serve the nachos and beer, but fucking be aware that I'm standing 2 feet behind you trying to entertain the people you're talking.
Yeah.
Now, without naming names, are there clubs that you won't play at?
There's clubs that won't have me.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
No, but there's some clubs that won't play.
Yeah.
Well, in America, there's A rooms, B rooms, and C rooms.
Right.
I tried to cut out all the C rooms, and I did successfully for a long time. Then had a bit of a health scare, so I had to start involving the C rooms again, and I paid the price dearly. I had somebody throw a chair at me
What?
in the South recently.
Has
I had
anyone-
somebody wait outside to try to hit me in Nevada. And I'm just like, this is nonsense. And then I got called and yelled at for it. Both occasions. I was like, let me get this straight. A guy throws a chair at me, and you're upset at me. Not the fact that there was no bouncers in the room. I literally saw the
Were they mad
bouncer-
that you let the chair hit the wall and you didn't absorb the impact?
he just didn't
you know, these
re-
chairs cost money, Brian. How do you
didn't
let
reach
that?
Back for the chair.
It didn't reach me. But it was a guy. I was on stage, and the first word I said hi, and the opening line is key. It's key. It's like if you do well in the first 5 minutes, then you're gonna have an A+ show.
Right.
If you can carry that. If the first few minutes get fucked up, you're starting off with a BB minus, and you're never gonna really pass that. It's
Right.
gonna be that way the whole way through. It's gonna be work. I'd rather go for the A. A B is fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't get on an airplane, fly 6 hours for a fucking B.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like these C rooms. Like I remember, I walked on stage, I said hi, and I had this guy go, "I can't understand a word you're saying." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "I can't understand what you're saying."
Well, you
He's like,
clearly just did.
You're talking too loud. And I was like, "Are you saying the microphone's too close to my mouth and you can't understand the words that I'm saying?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, how'd you understand what I just fucking said, though?"
Yeah.
And I realized he just fucking with me because he heard my New York accent because he's from the South. So then he just didn't stop. And I literally saw the bouncer who promised me he'd be in the room. I saw him sneak out the back because I looked to him for help and he was sneaking out the back. So I make fun of the guy for a while. They laugh. He does it again. I make fun of him for a while. After the 8th time, it's no longer my responsibility. It's the responsibility of the club.
Right.
Because now I got to police the guy myself and I'll become unlikable. And now the show's a C.
Right.
So then I get yelled at for it. And then finally, a guy who wasn't even supposed to be working that day, a guy who was delivering sodas, of all things, said, "No, it wasn't Brian's fault. The bouncer left."
Yeah.
The guy, he was going after Brian for 15 minutes. Okay. And then the owner was like, "Oh, okay. Sorry about that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, bye, but I'm not coming back."
No, well, when you know that the club doesn't stand behind you.
No, and I know the club blame me. I know those guys wrote emails. I know they gave them their money back. So I know you give them money back, they're saying it's my fault, and that's fuck you.
Right.
But anyway, things are still good, though. I love the Comedy Store. That's a room that does it right.
Yeah.
Comedy Store is the best room in the country right now. It is. We're talking 3 sold-out shows at the same time, followed by 3 more shows that are most likely to be sold out.
Yeah.
There's fucking 6 shows a night in this one little spot, and it's fucking amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
To see. Yeah.
Did you guys have a good time there that night?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been there I think 3 nights so far
It's
this
the best,
week.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so many fucking killers on the lineup.
There's something special about that place.
Yeah.
I came here last March to just sort of hang out and see what's what. And I've never at any point I arrived and I was like, I don't know where I'm going. I have to go to where I'm going to stay. And the first thing I did is I told the Uber to just go straight to the store. So if I'm going to go anywhere, that's the only reason I'm here is to go to the store.
Yeah.
It's at like a noon, right? So there's nothing going on. I'm sitting on the patio and I'm just sitting there absorbing the fact that I'm sitting here at this comedy store,
yeah.
right? You got to acknowledge, like, you're here at the comedy store. This is the place.
Yeah.
I'm watching tour buses coming in and out and when they're doing their thing. But it's like, yeah, I felt right at home right away. I was like, this is
It's a great place for comics. There was, I don't know. I just what I talked about so many negative things, but the positive things of stand-up comedy outweigh the negative things, and the Comedy Store is definitely one of them. The fact that I get to go up at the Comedy Store twice a week when I'm in town makes me never want to play the road again, because it's like, this is where careers happen. This is where people come see you and then put you on television. This is where you're following David Spade and Ron White or whoever. Everyone's there, you know.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when's the first time you ever got to the Comedy Store? What was the
Dom Irrera, 2001, I was on a sitcom that nobody remembers because 9/11 happened. So that's a negative thing right there. So then Dom Irrera I met because he was hosting a show called Late Friday, and I had done that on TV, on NBC. So then Dom recommended me to the Comedy Store. So I performed, and Mitzi Shore was there. This is before she got sick. So I was one of the last few people she passed. She's like, you call in your avails. And I was like, wow, thank you. And I was fully aware of her history, but I was coming from the Comedy Cellar, which was my home club in New York.
That's right.
So I was very confident about what I could bring. So then I got passed, and then she got sick, and I didn't play there again for like 6 years. And I stopped calling in because the guy who they fired, there was an old booker there, and he literally said to me, he goes, you, Brian Callen, Dov Davidoff, you guys came here funny, and I don't like that. I want you to start off and learn the room. I was like, what do you mean learn the room? All rooms are the same. You know? Can you close that?
I'll take care of that.
I'm sorry. All rooms are the same. So apparently today's...
Oh, is that the street sweeper?
It's a guy fucking blowing leaves. You don't hear it often.
You've got that bit like every
that was
fucking
from
morning.
the other side. The other side was no crazy enough. But
They only start grooming this side of the building. that
he
you're at.
wanted me to fucking start over. And after doing 10 years in New York, I was like, I'm not doing that. So I didn't call in avails. And then when he got fired for stealing, the new guy, Adam, who's Norm Macdonald's co-host, liked me. And he was like, I never know why he doesn't book you, Brian. I never know. And then when he took over, suddenly I was there all the time.
Nice.
So it's just a matter of being nice, always doing well, and being nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Which I have not fully done recently. But that you never know who's going to fucking wind up being in charge one day.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. It could be taxing as hell
Yeah.
to sort of weather
Well,
the
Adam
storm.
was a pleasure to talk to. Usually, if you're hard to talk to, I will fake it and walk away. Half of my time at Ottawa is, can I leave this green room really fast? When they have the nights where all the young comics are there,
Oh yeah, that's
and
kind of
I pretty much sneak out of that room.
yeah.
And first of all,
I get
I'm like, I'm the headliner. Can't you just pretend you know who I am, asshole?
Jesus.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. Cotton time. Mike, use your
Pause.
pants.
I got it.
All right, 1 second. I'll pause this.
Ugh.
All right. So,
Sorry, yeah, Adam was. I'm not even holding my mic. How about that? There we go. I'm like, why the fuck can't I hear myself? Yeah. So Adam at the store, he saw you. Now you're the regular there. We bumped
Yeah.
into each other. You were one of the first guys I recognized.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you walked down the hall. I had forgotten you were coming. You're supposed to let people know, remind them again. But because I probably could have got you a spot at the Laugh Factory with a little warning.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, from what I heard, they're like, it's a tough spot, and it's not really a hangout joint. It's like come. It's
not a hangout joint.
Like, yeah.
The Improv used to be the hangout joint, and then Levity turned it into a restaurant, and now nobody fucking hangs there anymore.
Well, I ran into a colleague from Canada there. So he was
DJ's here now.
DJ's here. Yeah, DJ and I came up together. So
Yeah.
it was great to like when I knew he was here. I got to tell you, like DJ's one of those guys. There's a lot of people in this business where you're like, they're funny and you see them getting things and you're just kind of like, good for them.
Oh, happy for him.
But DJ's one of those good guys. Like I feel like, oh, good, you found one of the good, like the good people and funny guys.
Yeah.
And God, I'm always happy whenever I see
Yeah,
anything.
when somebody good makes it, I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
Because it's so often not the case.
Yeah.
And
And
so often somebody is like, him? Really?
Right.
He's not even okay.
And sometimes you get it and you're like, nah. But DJ's one of those like, yes, good.
Yeah.
Like he's great. Yeah, him and I used to come up at the same time. I'd be hosting, he'd be featuring or whatever it is on a show, and it's like,
I haven't seen him yet, but I know he's here. We spoke the other day, but
oh, you haven't even seen him yet?
I haven't even seen him yet.
Yeah, he's up
Okay.
last night.
I know he's here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know everybody was here.
So question for you. You mentioned you got up in the cellar. Can you go back and talk about where you came from? Like what's your
Yeah, like
your
what
background
got you started in stand-up?
Yeah,
George Carlin and Bill Cosby.
no kidding.
Yeah, but my real love is acting. So it's like in kindergarten, my father was showing us Laurel and Hardy and Abbott and Costello, Marx Brothers, and my mother showed us Bill Murray and John Belushi. So I knew I wanted to do that. And then right around 5th grade, I went to see Bill Cosby at Harrah's in Atlantic City, and I was amazed that one person could incite that much in people. And then I saw George
Did you say
Carlin.
ingest that much in people?
What? Incest. And then
I
know what he's done, but it doesn't,
No,
I'm
I
talking
know.
about the work. And then George Carlin I saw live at Westbury Music Fair, and I loved him so much. And his HBO special, Playing with Your Head, had just come out, and my friend had all the old George Carlin albums from his father. So I was like, this is the best. It was like a second dad to me almost.
Yeah.
Like I was learning so much about the world through George Carlin, and I was like, I want to do this too.
Yeah.
So I just after during college, I did a couple of bringer shows in New York when I come home for the Christmas break or summer break, and you bring a few audience members, and then you perform. Then I got picked up by a manager, and the manager threw me an agent, and then none of them did stand up, so I did all stand up on my own. So they got me on TV, but before I got on TV, the manager owned a comedy club called Boston Comedy Club, which was around the corner from the Cellar. So I had all the Cellar comics, but there were no rules, and you could tank. Like Patrice O'Neill and Mark Maron and Louis C.K., everybody was there. Dave Chappelle, everybody was there. And then you'd go across the street and see them have to kill because it's the Cellar. But it was a great time because so then eventually I went over to the Cellar, and Robert Kelly brought me in years ago. I can't remember the year, 1995, 96.
Okay.
And what was great about the Cellar at that time is that it was before the internet, and you had all these comics that were about to become famous but weren't. So you had, and it was all, they were at the great age, like mid-30s. So, and everyone was fantastic. Everyone in the lineup was fantastic. And like there was no flaw in the lineup. There was nobody where you left. So I'll come back after this guy's done. There was nobody like that.
Yeah, they wanted to see every act on the show.
And it was, there's a great line in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas where he talks about the San Francisco acid scene. He goes, so it ended. He goes, but with the right pair of eyes, he goes, you can still look out the window west, and with the right pair of eyes, you can see that high water mark where the wave finally broke and rolled back. That's how I feel about the Cellar in 95 to 2001. It was not their most lucrative time money wise, but it was amazing. Like you were watching Colin Quinn, Tom Papa, Jim Norton, Greg Giraldo, Dave Chappelle, Patrice O'Neill, Tony Rock, Ted Alexandro, Jim Gaffigan. Did I say Mark Maron already? Yeah. Louis C.K.,
Bill Burr,
Nick,
too, back then.
DiPaolo, Bill
Kelly.
Burr. The list kept going. Me, Pete Corielli, Ben Bailey, DC Benny, Russ Maneve. Everybody was popping, and it just was incredible. It just was incredible. And nobody was famous, and nobody gave a shit because the PC didn't exist yet. Political correctness didn't exist. It was just off the chain.
I like that as a statement. Political correctness didn't exist.
It didn't exist. The internet didn't exist.
It's true.
So there was no way to get bad reviews or anything. Everybody just was fantastic.
Yeah.
You can say the most fucked up things up there. Yeah. And it would kill. And it was a great time. And then I booked a TV show and I moved here. Anyway, that's what happened. What's going on?
That's awesome. I got to check.
Signals.
So I'm looking at the time. It's 12:15.
What does that mean?
Did you find a parking spot that
2 hours.
Oh fuck, for real?
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no meters here.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Well, no, but the signs say you can't park between 12 and 3 or whatever. So I was like,
I found a spot. It's 2 hour.
fucking amazing.
Yeah. I was
Right.
getting
That's all
walk, but
I'm
we got
concerned. This is the behind the scenes. They
all
get
these
all
hand
they-
signals during my story. I
Big
got
enough.
confused.
No,
So-
I just was taking a peek at the.
I thought I had to
time.
steal third.
No, but
in that time frame, like you're coming up. You're in New York at this time.
Yes.
Were there any of the guys that were veterans, sort of like already in the scene, that kind of took you under your wings? Or anybody notable from that time? And what was that like?
Nobody took me under their wing.
Yeah, really.
Which is fine. Because I also wasn't There were people that I think wanted to, but I also wasn't very extremely not friendly. But I liked being by myself. I don't know. I just like being by myself. I remember Jim Norton inviting me out to watch a game at a bar, and I was like, that's not really my thing. But really, I was thinking, I'm going to say something stupid and scare this guy away.
Right.
So instead, I just walked away. So Jim and I have been friends, but distant friends ever since. Whereas if I went, but I remember Jim Gaffigan approaching me about writing, not writing for him, just he was like, you're a really good writer. And Daryl Hammond, and I remember Greg Giraldo took me aside, and he gave me advice right away. My first few jokes were about TV commercials. And he's like, you're a great writer. Start writing about you more. And that was really helpful in the beginning. And everybody was. The thing about New York comics is that they're very giving. And for a city that has a reputation for being harsh, I find it the exact opposite. Like I was hiking today and I fell. I was so tired, my foot got stuck in a sewer and I fell. So I got this Band-Aid here. Not one motherfucker asked how I was doing. If I was a pretty girl, they would have.
Right, of
course. I'm a 300-pound guy in really shitty sweatpants. Just fell face first into concrete. Nobody said anything. And I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, if it was New York, somebody would have stopped. And she was like, yeah. Somebody would have absolutely stopped.
New York, that's how much people don't give a fuck here, right?
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been lucky so far. I've stopped and asked people for directions or just, a question about something or other.
Yeah, LA is not a bad place.
No.
I've been living there for a long time. It's not a bad place. But New York is friendlier.
Yeah, I've noticed. I find New York to be friendlier than Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto wants to be in New York.
Yeah.
But they aren't.
Right.
To me, Toronto is the Native American word for hot girls with earphones on that won't make eye contact.
Yeah.
They won't even fucking look up, talk to you. They just keep walking. Remember my MC in Toronto purposely screwed me.
Really?
He asked me what my intro was, and I wrote down like 9 things. I said, some of these are in America, some of these aren't.
Right.
Which ones aren't? So he told me which ones aren't. And I was like, okay, so you can say the other ones. He went, sure. I went on stage, purposely announced the shows that weren't in America, weren't in Canada.
Right.
And then said, well, none of these shows are in Canada, so who gives a shit?
Really?
That was my intro. And then he did it a second night. Then he did it a third night. And so I had to call Jason. I was like, Jay, you got to talk to the guy.
Do you remember who it was?
I don't want to badmouth anybody.
No, you don't have to, but
Yeah, but then the funny thing
I'm going to ask you off mic for
the
sure.
funny thing is, he did move here and asked me for help, and I was like, sure. And I didn't help him at all.
Good.
I did the old LA thing. I was like, sure, I'll help you. Yeah. Asshole, though.
Oh, that's a dick move. Like there's something wrong with comics. Like you're not going to make it if you're the guy who tries to bury other comics on the show in terms of being rude and disrespectful.
That's what my experience with Toronto was. So I was only there once, and I was like, I spent all my money at A&W. That was the only thing open.
Right.
Then there was a fucking hurricane, and I had to stay there 2 more days. I got stuck in Toronto.
You've only done the Toronto Club once?
Yeah.
Really? You should go back.
Well, I don't want to say why.
Well, moving.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Well, now what?
Well, I can't.
No, you don't have to, dude. I don't expect you to. I don't expect you. I'm just like, okay. Just scrambling for. If I was a professional interviewer, I would have
good.
papers and subjects written. Instead, I brought donuts and beer, and I'm like, we're gonna fucking hang out.
So do you go back home often?
Yeah, I'm going. I go back home twice a year. The original plan was to go back home more, but that's not quite working out. But I go back twice a year, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going back for the whole month of December this year.
Nice.
And I can't wait. Can't wait.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Home is New York, obviously.
Home is New York, but it's like if my parents allowed smoking in the house, I wouldn't give a shit about the weather.
Right. Yeah. To put boots and fucking coats on
and just stand outside.
Yeah.
Fucking freezing.
And you're chain smoking for the most part, so I'm like, you're basically living outside.
Thanks for bringing that up.
No worries. Sorry.
I didn't smoke a lot.
But I gotta feel that there's.
I forgot. You send me a list of everything I can't talk about because I will accidentally stumble into all of it.
I don't like negative things.
You mentioned the cold. Like, is there something to living in a place where you gotta struggle to get outside, and that breeds comedy in some way? Like, do you think that's
this guy with the fucking proper interview questions, eh?
Well, there might be something with that. They always say that people who are struggling in life write the better jokes, make the better art. Once they have a mansion, they get this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Disconnected.
Thank you. Disconnected. So there is something to that effect, probably, if you're always living in a nice temperature. then you're probably not writing as well. But I will say that the Comedy Store right now is the best comedy club in America. So that kind of goes against it,
Yeah.
because it's really beautiful here.
Wouldn't you think it's always people coming from outside coming in there? Because I talk to people there. There's guys from Philly. There's guys from
But they don't live in Philly.
That's right. They live here now. Yeah.
And I've known them for like years. These guys.
Yeah,
I've known these guys for decades.
How much colder does it get here? Like, is this pretty much as bad as it gets?
In November, it'll rain for 2 weeks.
That's it.
And then it'll stop. But literally, when it rains for 2 weeks, it won't stop, and you don't see the sun for 2 weeks. And but LA is funny because there's a horrible drought, and all year long they're like, "We have no water, we have no water," and then it rains, and they go,
Everyone
"Oh, there's too
bitches.
much water,"
Yeah.
and then there's mudslides, and everybody dies. I know it's funny. But
That's the best dress up. And then
we have no
everybody
water.
dies.
So you want fucking water? Here's some water. Like, no, too much.
Right? It's never enough.
Yeah,
Just
but I think there's a really bad drought here. A really bad drought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just washed my car. I don't know.
I like this weather's perfect. I always end up coming to, the southern part of the United States in bad Canadian weather, going, "Oh, this is not bad." And everyone's like, "Yeah, but it's November." Last time I was in Vegas in February, and I'm like, "This is fucking amazing." I don't know why everyone's complaining about the heat. They're like, "It's February." Wait, come back in August when it's 1,000
My
degrees.
CDs melted in my car in Vegas last time I was there. Melted, warped, like completely warped.
Holy shit!
One melted in the thing.
Oh, are you kidding
In the
me?
CD? Yeah.
What have the buttons and everything on the consoles not fucking melt?
I don't know how, but the guy, my battery died because I left it on, and the guy came and he was like, "A lot of times the batteries die out here because it's too hot." Never even heard of that. But apparently, and then there the water's bad too. Like when it rains, like old ladies will drown in their cars, and I know, that's
Go
funny.
on.
But it's like there's giant flash floods where you're just driving down the street and all of a sudden you just drown. That's Vegas. But I love playing Vegas. It's the closest to New York.
It sounds like
possible.
everything's a gamble there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like,
Yeah.
Flash floods. You're dead.
I'm there in February playing the Laugh Factory in February. That's a good club run by Harry Basil. One of my favorite road rooms is the Laugh Factory in Vegas.
That's the one in Tropicana, right?
That's the one in the Tropicana.
Yeah.
Tropicana used to be a shitty hotel,
Yeah.
and now it's great.
It's beautiful.
One time I stayed there with a girlfriend in 2010, and we got attacked by grasshoppers in the room. 12 floors up. 12 floors up, and we woke up, and we were covered in grasshoppers, and they were hopping around the room in our hair, and we called
How
downstairs.
did that many get in the room?
And there were red grasshoppers too. Like they
Okay.
evolved to match the color.
You guys weren't on drugs, were you?
No.
It just
Well,
sounds like we
were,
woke
but-
up, there was red grasshoppers
But
all over
they
the room.
matched the color of the carpet. Like they were there so long they evolved. So I called downstairs. I was like, "There's grasshoppers in the room." And the guy goes, "No, there's not." I go,
That's
I
customer
go, "We
service.
caught one. Come up." The guy comes up and we give him the cup and there's a grasshopper. And he goes, "My God." And he was like, "All I can think of is that maybe there was a magician here who was feeding the snakes or something." Because how the fuck did they get just to that room?
Right.
10 floor, 11, 12 floors up just to that room.
I got hung up on the
But
there's
now-
grasshoppers.
wait, but I
no,
have to
there's
say-
not. Oh well, my mistake.
I'm sorry, but I do got to say the Tropicana now is owned by the Hilton and it's 1,000 times better.
Oh yeah.
They fixed it all up. So, and it's a great club. It's worth, if you're in Vegas, you should go to that club. So it's a fantastic club.
Like even like I find a lot of it's renewing. Like even Imperial Palace got rebuilt.
I've never been over there.
Yeah, it
that's
used to be the worst of them all, and they've just
Yeah.
rebuilt it, and it's like really
Yeah.
nice.
There's money there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Man. But I do like playing Vegas.
yeah. So what's if you compare a room like in L.A., New York?
They're all-
what's
every room's the
Vegas
same.
like though? Like I mean, you got a rotation of people coming in, and they're just doing the
Vegas
show
is-
thing.
It all depends on who runs the room, and that's the only thing that can separate rooms from each other. A Vegas crowd is more like New York in the sense that you're playing everybody. You're playing all these different races. You're playing all these different ages. You're playing all these different nationalities. All these different states are from different states or from different parts of the world. That's like New York. So that's fun for me. I don't like getting to a place and everybody is the same race or everybody's the same age.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if you don't like me, then this is going to be a shitty 45 minutes.
Right.
But if I can get a black guy to laugh and next to him is an old lady, an old white lady, she'll laugh because the black guy's laughing. It'll spread. But if it's all the same, if you ever play like a party and it's all the same people,
Yeah.
they all have the same opinions on things, like those Christmas parties at Absolute. You know, it's like all fucking 80 people who like the same thing.
Yeah.
And every time he books me one of those, I'm like, I'm not sure they're going to be what they want.
Well, they're all like the same department of the government or something. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we got the fisheries people in today.
Yeah.
Like,
You need a crowd work person for those shows. Like Kate Davis. She's good in those shows.
yeah, you've worked with Kate. Have you worked with just the one time or a couple times?
Just the one time.
Just the one time.
But she got me into the Nest.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
That week, if I remember correctly, Kate, for whatever reason, I don't know if she was
couldn't remember my
drinking
name.
paint. Yeah, she couldn't get his name right once.
Got my
the
name
entire-
right in the very last show. Yeah.
very last show. Yeah,
But that was nothing compared
and
to what
she
happened in
was
Toronto.
stressing in the back, dude.
I know.
She was in the back going like, she would say it like 15 times correct, and I go, okay, you got it. She's like, I don't know what it is. I fuck it up every time. She's like, I think I'm stressing myself out, and I think of all the different things I've said, and I'm like, what's that? And then every time she's like, fuck on stage. I've done that where
I don't
fucked it
mind
up
if somebody fucks up my name, but I hate when they fuck it up.
on purpose.
No, yeah, sure. But I hate when they fuck it up, obviously.
Right.
It's like, just say it with conviction. Say Brian Scolio.
Yeah.
Just say, whatever the fuck, just say it with conviction. Let
Yeah.
them think that's my name.
Yeah,
Don't go, Brian, Scolaro.
yeah, because then it looks like you're not important enough
Yes.
for people to know your name.
Yep.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
now I'm starting from the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, well, I guess.
Yeah.
And especially
Now I got to make fun of you. and I don't
especially
wanna
when
do that.
they've had a chance to be funny first.
Right.
So it's like, oh, well, you're funny, and if you don't know who, right? It's not. It's like, well, fuck, I'm gonna win them over, but thanks for making me look like a fucking
Yeah,
jackass.
now I got to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Like that time with you, I didn't want a heavyset comic on before me because I opened up with 5 minutes
I'm
of
heavy
heavyset.
sets. This is news
No,
to me.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't. You know, you mean?
Never mind.
no, I'm just kidding.
Does that mean I have an opening? Or just-
Yeah, there you go.
So when he booked me and you together, I know he was excited because you're a great comic. So I knew it
thanks,
was going
man.
to be a good show.
That's kind.
But I was like, oh my god, now I got to throw out these jokes. Jay was like, just mention him. I'm like, will you care? He's like, no. And then you did care. And
Did
then-
I?
Yeah. And then Jay was like, hey, you should have done that. I'm like, yeah, you told me to do it. You remember
They
that?
call me fat. I don't care. I'm
I didn't
fat.
call you fat. I would never call somebody fat.
Why not? I don't know. I don't remember. Jay was telling you to reference that I'm big.
Well, I said, how do I do that? I should drop it, I guess. And he said, no, just make a reference to it.
Yeah.
That's all he said.
Yeah.
And then when I made a reference to it, I thought you got annoyed. I heard through the grapevine.
No,
Okay.
dude, that fucking grapevine is so goddamn ridiculous.
It's true.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude. Here's the thing. I've always considered myself a good host because I know what the host job is in the show. The host job is not for me to be the best one on the show. I'm there to set a nice table for
Which
the
is
headline.
why I don't like the host there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I still remember my favorite joke of yours was the one with the kid standing in the blue light of the cell phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it
was great.
fell flat at the Improv. But it was also at like in front of 20 comics who were mad that I was getting one of the last spots on the show and,
Yeah.
and they weren't.
Sure,
So
you can't. Well, open mics, when comics ask me for advice, not that you're doing that, but they were like, what do I play? I've been playing open mics. What do I do? I go, first of all, you don't want to play only open mics.
right, you
'Cause
get a reputation.
You will become the most bitter act possible. Because the only thing that makes comics laugh is bitterness and anger. So that's what you're just gonna be. You're just gonna be Doug Stanhope. There already is a Doug Stanhope. We don't
Yeah.
need you.
Yeah.
Figure out who you're gonna be. Play a healthy diet of all rooms. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. And it's funny because you're like bitter and angry. I'm like they're laughing because it's relatable to them.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, but sometimes there's a lot of negativity in this job, and sometimes I tend to focus on it. But there's a lot of good, really good stuff. The amount of friendships I've made, like just the mere fact that I know Mark Maron,
Right.
that's fucking thrilling. The fact that I get to occasionally talk to Chris Rock or David Spade or somebody backstage,
Yeah.
that never fucking happens. I mean, how thrilling is that? The fact that Colin Quinn knows who I am, I like that.
Yeah. Well, the fact that we were standing there at the store. Like I said, I was talking to a guy last night, and I think it was myself and like 3 other different ethnicities. We're all having a conversation out of the blue, and I'm like, "Do you guys know? Like, this is one of the best parts of being a comic." I go, "I'm across the country,
Yeah.
from where I live.
Yeah.
I go, we're all different races,
Yeah.
but we're all part of the same fraternity."
Yeah.
Like as comics, we all know that. But
Yeah.
but being at the store that first night, just seeing how many different just monster names. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how impossible it would be to see that many people in Canada unless it was just for laughs or
Right, yeah,
or
yeah.
a ridiculously huge festival? But that was just like coming in and fucking around and just seeing
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
there or whatever. Like
It's fun, right?
that, dude, mind blowing,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
And I do like the fact that, like, it reminds me of high school in the sense that I get to be friends with so many nationalities, Like, I like that. I like, it reminds me of high school being forced, or on the subway being forced around so many nationalities. Some of these guys are great friends of mine.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll never forget. Like so these guys are now. I had all these good friends, wonderful friends outside of the business, but I've been here for so long that I consider the comics at the store closer friends than those guys now, which is weird.
I just, and it's nice too, because like the thing is, you know, people look at races and genders and all that shit. Not that we're getting all fucking PC, but all I mean is that like, it's easy for people to start putting each other in boxes and you're this and you're that, whatever, in whatever job. What I like about comedy is it doesn't matter where in the country you are or where in the fucking planet you are, right? Or what nationality. You get to sit down, 4 of you at a table. Doesn't matter what you are. We're all comics.
You
know what I mean?
I can't take conversations with regular people anymore.
Yeah,
I bust out after 5 minutes. Reading Facebook comments, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I look at somebody's Instagram video, I'm like, a comic would have made me laugh in 5 seconds. I'm out of here. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need a comic to fucking get by in life.
Well, just it's fucked up my conversations too, because I'll sit with my friends who I love dearly.
Yeah.
I love dearly.
Yeah.
But at least with a comic, like comics aren't always going to laugh at the shit you say. But nobody goes, whoa.
Yeah,
you can't talk about that.
You can say
What'd you bring that up for?
You can say the most horrible thing. I remember once I was dating a girl who was a fucking major liar. And she left her last husband, whatever, left her kid, you know.
Jesus.
So she said she wanted a kid with me. And I remember saying to the comics at the store, I'm like, no way. She's going to leave me with a kid. Plus, she's late 40s. That means I'm going to have a Down syndrome kid. She's going to leave me with some fucking retarded kid. And they all started laughing.
Yeah.
And I realized I couldn't say this to anybody else with those words.
Because they would take it seriously.
Yes.
That's the thing. Everyone's like, but people don't.
Exactly, yeah.
You got to be super serious, and that's what I like about the business of comedy. Is like, again, I live in Ottawa, dude. It's government. Everyone's government, super serious jobs. So it's like they don't even like the idea that you could say something and not mean it. You have to structure everything you say so PC and professional. And I'm like, fuck it. That's why I love sitting down with comics, because they're not going to laugh at everything you say, and they're not necessarily going to agree with you. But no one's going to go, hey, why are you even talking about that? It's like, all right, I'll hear you out.
The comics in Ottawa are great. There's that. I love Nick Carter.
Yeah, Nick quit.
Nick quit?
Yeah.
I saw that coming. I knew he would.
Yeah. He's a great dude, and he's doing very well. But yeah, he stopped doing stand up.
What's he doing well with?
What's that? He's working for a political party in Canada.
You can find money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah. Great dude. I love him very much. He was the only reason I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas one time, and it was for his wedding.
His wedding?
Yeah. Yeah, a while back.
Good
So
for him. He reminds me of Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws.
Yeah, that's a fucking awesome.
Yeah. But funny. But like really funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, Nick had some great lines. He was a super guy. Like, and Nick's a huge bleeding heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like leftist, everything. But the guy's fucking hilarious. Like geez, I'll tell you. I can't share his jokes without his permission.
He was one of my favorite people I met up there. He was my first MC up there, and I fell in love with him right away.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's perfect. And he would never give them to me again. I was like, okay.
They don't like Jason's not a big fan of giving people what they want. It's like, oh, you enjoyed that? You basically have to tell him what you don't want, and you'll get it all the time.
You're taking a lot of stabs of him. He listens to these things.
He's one of my closest friends. If he can go fuck himself. He doesn't listen. No, he doesn't listen to this. So he can go fuck himself.
You used to live with him, didn't you?
Still live with him.
Still live
with Jay. I moved out, moved back in. He's a dear friend, but nobody knows Jay. Like, that's the thing. People are always like, well, I don't want to badmouth Jay. I go ahead. I'll do it to his face. Like, it's honest. Like, if I'm the first person to defend someone or to defend Jay if someone's being unfair. But I have yet to have someone say something about Jay that isn't accurate.
He's been very helpful otherwise. I remember I was coming from the Nest.
I'm editing this out.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was coming from the Nest, and I was like, I need the Nest is giving me an extra hotel one day. Can I? And you don't need me till Tuesday. Can I stay in the condo on Monday? He goes, no. Well, you can stay here.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the funny part was, like, I was smoking outside in the freezing cold, and he goes, make sure you finish exhaling. So he was standing at the door, making sure I was.
So it's not in the house. Yeah,
there was nothing, no possible little smoke molecule still in me.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, and then he punches you in the stomach at the end.
That's what it was like. Very funny.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's like a flop house at our place. We have comics staying. Like, that's the thing. Jay is. It's so fucking stupid. I don't get it. But it's like
who's the thin guy? I like the thin guy and the Arab guy. The thin guy that works there.
Simon.
That's been so long. What? Simon? Simon, I would describe him as on the spectrum more than thin, but I don't think he's talking about Simon.
I'm talking about, God damn it.
There's dude, the turnover has been crazy in the last few years. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know if there was Joey Houlihan. redheaded kid. No,
Yeah, there used
I'd
to be
be-
some gorgeous waitresses there too. You know.
there still are, but they just change.
Yeah, this changed.
Big rotation.
I don't recognize any of them anymore.
No,
No, I've gotten to that part of my career where I don't go there to hang out every night. Now I'm going to bed and I'm getting up in the morning and working and stuff.
What do you
It's
do?
okay.
What are you doing in the morning?
I drive Uber.
What?
I drive Uber in the morning.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's actually pretty nice in Ottawa. It's people are busy going to work. I only do a small, tiny little window. I make a lot of money. Then the rest of the day is mine to work.
They
Yeah,
don't have that. You don't make a lot of money in America driving Uber.
Not here.
maybe they're picking the wrong time of day to drive.
And I
But
think
an
that they're not making that much. You have to do it all the time, full time job to
Right.
make money.
Well, here's the thing with Ottawa. Everybody's government, which means they're all going to work at the same time, and the day ends at the same time. So in that morning rush, the entire city's going to work, and there's only so many people who can get them there, running late, whatever. So that's why it's busy. So the surge prices, I'm making more money because it's busy in the morning, and that's why I just work 6 to 10. Done.
What kind of money do you make in the morning?
Well, keep in mind it is Canadian, but it is. I usually make somewhere between $100, $125 for 4 hours.
That's not enough for me.
No, but it's $600 a week working 20 hours.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Then you get your other hustles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and I do other shit too. Like I'll do little promotional gigs that again 4 hours, $100. So I basically have got it to a point where I don't do anything for less than $20 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hate Uber, but I'm happy you're making money.
I also like I've got a decent personality, and I'm driving
you're
Canadians.
fine.
I'm not driving angry, drunk. You know,
exactly.
I'm driving people who are on their way to work. They're a little tired. You know,
This is not about you. This is my feeling about Uber.
right? Of course,
Uber is another way for the middle class to destroy itself.
Right.
And you had a major company make the money.
Yeah.
Like when I lost my acting jobs to reality shows in 2007, we all knew it was coming and we all lost our jobs.
Yeah.
Now, people who were making half of what we made were doing it without, and weren't actors. And now writers were making less, editors were making, everybody was making less, but actors weren't paid at all. We all lost our jobs.
Right.
So when I see like cab drivers can't feed their family, and cab drivers now have to become Uber drivers and make 1/3 of what they were making to feed their families because other people were making supplemental incomes. Like I go, that's the same thing. It's the middle class killing itself.
Yeah.
But yet I'm full of shit because I still use Amazon, and that killed mom and pop stores.
That's right.
So I am, you know.
well, honestly, Walmart's and the big boxes is what killed mom and pop stores. One-stop shopping killed mom and pop stores, and
Well,
then
Amazon didn't help.
And then Amazon killed the big boxes by going, "Don't even leave your house. We'll bring it to you."
Yeah, and
We're a big box online.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I still use it. So it's like it's not, but I don't. I remember I flew to Detroit, and they were like, "Okay, you got to take a lift from the airport." I was like, "That's not going to happen." I was like, "I'm going to take a cab."
Yeah.
Well, we can't pay a cab. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take it, and you're going to give me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because there's no way in fuck I'm sitting in somebody's car.
Really?
I hate it. Yeah, you're reliable. But you know the Uber drivers, some of them are like, I've missed an airplane. Once I missed an airplane, I was like, "Fuck this, man."
Yeah. Well, if you're missing an airplane, I tell people all the time, if you have a bad Uber experience, you give them 1 star. Because that's how they get rid of the shitty drivers. A lot of people feel bad. They're like, "Well, I'm not trying to fuck this guy to work." It's like, no, you give him a bad star, he sees his shit dropping. It's like they'll tell him your rating drops below this, you're not driving anymore. And they give us the feedback. If someone gives us a bad score, we get a message saying this is exactly what someone, and they give it to you. I think it's like 24, 48 hours later, so you don't know which ride it was.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I drove a few people. I have one of the highest ratings in the city, but at the same time,
I believe you would.
at the same time, I give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I look at you get in my car. You're not. We've been in
I
several
wonder
Ubers
how much
here.
money you would have made if you were a cab driver and Uber didn't exist.
Not not in Ottawa.
No.
Not in Ottawa. In Ottawa, the city gives plates, and guys will buy the plates and lease them to people
Yeah,
for
some-
several $1,000s a month.
Similar to the medallion system, not as crazy as the medallion system in New York, but like
And the
like
thing
that.
too is the cab drivers were treating
limited.
people like shit. Like you'd go to hail a cab and they go, "Where are you going?" And I go, "Oh, I'm going blah blah." Like from the club to Jay's,
Yeah.
right? Like you know where Jay's is just up the way.
Yeah, it's not far enough for them.
No, they don't. Yeah, not far enough, and then they just drive away. And I'm like, "Are you fucking
Yeah, they
kidding me?"
did that for a while in New York too. They screwed themselves.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, I hear that. but
You'd call a cab and they're like, "Yeah, there's one on the way." You'd sit at your house for an hour and then just no cab, and you call them back and they go, "Yeah, they didn't come." No,
I've had some really good cab experiences too.
Yeah.
In Manhattan, if I had to get from Stand Up New York to Comic Strip Live in 10 minutes, which is tight. It's like that scene in Die Hard 3. You got to follow an ambulance with Samuel L. Jackson to get there in time to stop the bomb. That's what it's like. And I have 10 minutes to get there, and the comic is finishing up because I'm on the phone with the comic strip. I say to the cab driver, you got to get me there in 10 minutes. Okay. Putting his life at risk and his family's income at risk, just fucking speeds through Central Park like a maniac to get me there on time. So I make sure I give him $5 extra. I go, thank you. Fucking, remember New Year's Eve, it was 11:55, and I had to get to the cellar. I'm performing at 12:05, and also I want to be there for the ball drop. So we're thinking 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It was almost impossible. The guy did it. You know? And that guy had to spend New Year's Eve in this cab by himself. And I got to spend it on stage with comics, count down.
Yeah.
Because that guy kicked ass in Manhattan, of all places.
It sounds like cab drivers are the bigger lunatics. That's
I
why.
like
Uber
that.
drivers like, they're watching me in every aspect. I can't do. You're like, you got 1 minute to get me from fucking Staten Island.
That's what fucking.
He's like, buckle up. It turns into the DeLorean.
But also, it's like you are killing, not you, but Uber is taking the bulk of the money and killing the middle class.
Yeah.
Kind of like Levity, what we were talking about before, Levity Management Company. They bought a lot of the improvs, changed them into 500-seaters, and now they don't want middle-class comics who make $2,000, $3,000. They want guys who can sell out.
Right.
500 theaters, 500
Again,
seats.
yeah. It's like, why would you do a club?
What you did is kill the middle class of comics.
Yeah.
So now, what happens when Norm Macdonald dies? Now there's nobody because you fucking didn't take care of anybody.
That's right.
So
yeah,
like,
you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I hate when it's just the middle class is just dying here in America, and it's sad. And they warned us about it 15 years ago, but it's really coming to fruition now. And every day there's another company that's taking all the money.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Well, and it's tricking people to thinking that, hey, we're giving you jobs, but it's like they call it crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
So when they pick the what do you call it? The populace.
Yeah.
Hey, come drive for us and da 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 da. And it's like, okay. Or deliver groceries or pick this up and bring it there.
Yeah.
And, whatever it is. Hey, skip the dishes or is that a Canadian thing?
Skip the dishes? Yeah, it's more like Uber Eats. Uber Eats.
Yeah, same shit, but it was like Uber Eats saw that and went
that kind of
let's
thing.
do that.
It's amazing to me.
One thing I found weird in this city, we got here and there's these scooters everywhere.
Oh, the birds.
Those bird scooters.
I don't know what bird scooters are, but you're talking about little fucking Segway things?
Yeah, they're like little Segway
people are
scooters
just zipping around
they're
on these
electric
fucking
and
things. They just ditch them on the corners.
And I looked it up and there's I was like, who charges these things? Like, they're electric, so when do you get charged and stuff? And they're actually like crowdsourcing the charging, so you can actually get paid for picking up these things, bringing them in your house, and plugging them in.
I've been living here for 17 years, and I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, if you see scooters just ditched on the side of the road, those.
I've never seen anything ditched on the side of the road besides homeless people.
Probably not here. You're probably going to see them out in
Sorry. But
you're
where?
probably going to see them out in West Hollywood where we're at.
Oh,
So
West
near the
Hollywood.
store, especially right in front. You see them parked out in front of the store.
dude, everywhere.
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 Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't even noticed.
Yeah.
I like cars.
That's right.
Yeah, I like having a car. And getting somewhere. I'll Uber myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing too. Yeah, I like as much as I do it. Like they're talking about what was it? I read an article about how because of Uber, it's not just going to hurt the cab industry; it's going to hurt the automotive industry because people look at like for example, I have a small car, so I don't spend a lot on it, and I don't spend a lot on gas. Right? Same with insurance. But my car in a conservative month cost me $700 all said and done for gas and payments and everything like that. So if I'm looking at my situation, it's like if I was spending less than $700 a month in Uber, it would be more prominent for me to do that than to have a car. Now, because I drive as a comic, I can't do that. I'm traveling between cities. I need my car. That's a lot of extra costs. But they're saying that like people are going to look at that. Like I talked to a guy in Toronto, nice big area town, rich money, whatever. He had a nice car in the driveway, but he's like, yeah, he drove him all the way down Yonge Street into downtown. He's like, yeah, I take Uber every day because it costs me less than it would to have a second car. And he's like, that's just it. So I was like, that makes a lot of sense. They're moving towards the whole, there aren't going to the auto drive cars. They're moving towards that. So it's basically just instead of having
those are hackable.
What's that?
There was a video where they hacked into the guy's car.
Absolutely.
And
really?
they made that guy drive 80 miles per hour, and he was terrified. They were changing his radio channels, and they were turning his windshield wipers on. And they were driving like 80 miles.
Oh, I want to
The guy
watch
was
that.
terrified. It's like that seems to me like a bad idea, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be like one of those old men like afraid of change. So I guess if they can make it safe, then it'll be
Yeah.
fine. There'll be less accidents.
Well, the way they look
But
at
also, do you want to leave Vegas at 4 a.m. when you get done? I get done in Vegas at midnight.
Right.
Right. And I want to be home I want to be home by 3:30. I can do that. But eventually, if you have self-driving cars, if everybody has a self-driving car, then they're going to force us to have these, and they're going to force us to not ever drive again.
Well, they're actually, what they're looking at, this article I read, is not so much that we have our own self-driving car. It's that the cities themselves have self-driving cars. So basically you get out somewhere, that car ditches you and goes, it's Uber without a driver.
Not our generation. I'm saying once you introduce that in the future, it's going to be like, that's what we're all going to be.
Yeah.
We're all going to be forced to have those, and they're all going to be controlled.
Right.
So it's way, like, to me, it's like, we're all going to be stuck at the same speed limit. Not us. We'll be dead. But it's going to be like the future where everyone's just getting in their car and they're just like, it's going to be like a big bus.
Well, they'd probably have like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. I shouldn't be designing these things. But I would think that there would be like an express lane for people who are going out of the city. Like they have that now where there's like the big express places and then the little side
you got to
ones.
buy it. So at first they did the express lane, the carpool lane here.
Right.
And everybody was very excited about it. Then they privatized.
Right.
And now you got to pay
buy a
$2.
pass or whatever.
Yeah. So now nobody takes it. And the first thing they said was in the news, well, I guess those are people, bless you, I guess those are people that were lying. They weren't carpooling, and now they don't want to get caught. Like, no, you're charging us now for something that was for free.
Right.
So eventually these things come out, and they seem nice and interesting, but eventually they become shitty. That's how I see it. And so I'm from New York, and I expect things to go badly. And so I think that Uber and self-driving cars will eventually destroy us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The way like Monsanto has been destroying us for God knows how long. They're like, who's that? Monsanto. They're one of the big owners. They own like all the big food companies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They own Coke and Pepsi, Lipton's and Campbell's. So it's like that.
Coke and everything?
Yeah, and they're big in the agricultural fertilizer business.
Yeah, they make
well, too.
Terminator seeds.
Yeah,
so basically,
pretty much.
Monsanto will make a seed that you'll sell to a third world country. They're hungry, they need food, they got to buy seeds. So what they'll do is they'll buy a seed, but they've genetically engineered the seed so that when the thing grows, it doesn't make its own seeds, so that you can just harvest those and plant them again.
Bullshit.
It is 100%. Yeah, and they're called Terminator seeds, which basically means that once you grow the crops, you have to buy the seeds again.
Yeah.
You can't just
bullshit.
harvest like a fucking But
Bunch
dude,
of assholes.
dude, one of the most evil companies in the entire world. If you Google Monsanto and what they own, they like every competing company they own both of. So like Lipton and Campbell's, you think, I don't like Lipton's and Campbell, you're still buying from them.
Wow.
If you think about the Coke and Pepsi commercials, where in the same commercial, Coke and Pepsi's logos are being shown. Yeah. You're like, well, how did the other company who's getting shit on give their permission to be in that? It's because the same fucking company owns them.
But so you're saying that back in the old days when they had the Coke Pepsi challenge for Pepsi in the 80s, you're saying at that time they were still owned by the same company? Because that was the time they used to show Coke in the Pepsi commercials.
I don't think they were owned back then.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know when. But then you would have to ask yourself, then why did the company basically
Coke,
that's getting shit on give permission for their logo to be shit on?
I think in the 80s, I think that you were cool with that because Coke was the shit back in the 80s, and nobody liked Pepsi.
So Pepsi's cool with being shit on in the commercials?
No. If you watch Coke commercials, they never mention Pepsi. That's how cool Coke is.
Cool. Now,
But this is also this is also what I think about America and Canada. America never mentions Canada on stage. Occasionally, you go to Canada and half the jokes are about America. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you guys are like Pepsi and we're like Coke. Because Coke never mentions Pepsi.
well, I remember commercials where there would be Coke drivers, like there'd be a Pepsi driver. He's got his little Pepsi hat on, his Pepsi truck and everything, and he pulls into a store or a station or whatever, and the Coke truck is there too. And you see him sort of sneaking around the Pepsi driver grabbing a Coke. And the whole idea is even the guys who are Pepsi are drinking Coke. So I'm going Pepsi.
You sure it wasn't the opposite?
Yeah, with them.
I've seen both. Yeah. I've honestly seen both. Commercials where both logos.
I've never seen Coke mention Pepsi in an ad, but maybe it's different up there.
Well, the whole ad was like, Coke is so great that even the Pepsi drivers want to drink Coke. And that's essentially Coke mentioning Pepsi going, we're better.
Well, I've never seen that commercial.
Fair
I've
enough.
never seen Coke mention
I have. There's a whole series of them. But what I say about that is like, if you're Pepsi, it's like, hey, by the way, we want to make commercials. Can we put your logo in it? We're going to shit on your brand. The message is your stuff is not as good as ours. You cool with that?
It's not as bad as the seeds thing. That's
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So, and there's also been cases too where like
horrible.
where Monsanto has had farms near other farmers, and their seeds and things like that, and their crops have pollinated, blown in the wind, pollinated with another farmer, ways away. And Monsanto sued that person into existence because their seed, you've got our property growing on your thing. It's like, What do you mean? I had my farm. Your shit blew over here and pollinated with mine.
Yeah, the
And
big
like,
debate as well too is they're known for patenting genetic compounds and like seeds and they're genetic organisms, and so even if your plants that don't have any of that genetic compound in it, eventually will get put into. They'll sue you.
Yeah,
for
we already
patent
owned that
infringement.
strain before your thing evolved into it.
Because nature's taking its course and is sort of absorbing what's
lot-
around it.
the-
And,
I just didn't like Uber.
Yeah. Well, the
So we
point,
got into
the
this
point that I was
discussion,
getting at is in terms of us destroying ourselves with technology, we've been destroying ourselves with chemicals in our food for fucking ever.
But, there's a way, like my brother still has no social media network. I think that's amazing.
I envy that.
I love it. I love the fact that he's not on, he's like Ron from Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Like, he's like, nope, erase all pictures of Ron. He doesn't, like, there's nothing of him online. It's like he doesn't even exist.
and you're the opposite.
Because I have to be.
Yeah.
I have to get
right.
fucking 5 tickets. But you know what? The people very rarely do they buy the tickets. They all they see the show on Facebook and they go, "Can you get me in for free?"
Yeah, that's
go-
not cool.
No, and then they go, "Okay, I'm not gonna. I don't think I can make it." So really, what am I doing on there? That's what I'm saying. This job stinks. It was fun when I started. It was great when I started.
Well, you've done a lot, dude. You're very accomplished.
Thanks. The acting stuff is the best. I just was on Shameless.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
I
we
just
were
was
about
looking for a way to
mentioning
bring that
And I
up.
was happy because they left it alone. A lot of times when you're a guest role on shows, they edit the shit out of you. If the show's a minute long, you're the first person to get edited.
Right.
Like I remember on Harry's Laws, a show I did with Kathy Bates, and I had to say, I was playing a priest. I said a parishioner of mine took his own life. And then I do a pause, and you can see I'm affected by it. And I go, but before he did, and then so what they did was eliminate all the pauses. So I go, a parishioner of mine took his own life, but before he did, it was like you just made me look like a bad actor,
Yeah.
and I was annoyed at that. I still was happy to be on the show, but like Shameless and Mad Men, they left it all there, and I like Mad Men. When I saw Mad Men, they left. I ad-libbed physicalness, and they left it in. Like every eye roll, every huff and puff was all in there, and that I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But you got a wide range. Like you go everywhere from like say Shameless to all the way to like Wizards of Waverly
Yeah, and
Place,
Girl Meets
right?
Girl and shit,
yeah, you're doing kids shows and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
But when I first started, I wanted to do comedy acting, and then I did that for a very long time. And
You were
then
on Stacked, right?
I did Stacked with Pam Anderson for 2 years, and I had a pilot with ABC in between, and I had a pilot for NBC, and I did an NBC sitcom called Three Sisters. And it was all multi-camera shoots. From 2001 to 2007, I made a very good living. And then the writer strike came and stopped that shit.
The reality TV kicked in.
And it just stopped that momentum. And the one thing you need in America is a momentum. And so they took my momentum away. But the point I was trying to make is now I like dramas more, because when you do a multicam comedy, you have to deliver the line a certain way for it to get a laugh. You read it and you go, well, I got to do it this way. I have to do it that way. I got to do that. I can do it maybe one or two ways. But when you do a drama, there's literally no wrong way. And it's a lot of fun to have that kind of freedom to just, you could literally do a scene a million different ways. And I fucking love that. And there's no wrong way. And there's a lot of freedom and exploration. And it's way more fulfilling, I think, than comedy sometimes. With a stand-up comedy, you guys know the joke has to be done the same way every time. I mean, you can tell
To
it's
make sure
slower.
it works everywhere.
Yeah, you can tell it's slower if the crowd's quieter. You can tell it a little louder, But really, it's got to be delivered the same fucking way.
Yeah.
And with drama, it's not. And that, to me, now in my older age, is more fulfilling than comedy is. Which is why I think I like acting more. It's also more zen. Like if you
More
truly...
money.
What's that?
More money, too.
More money. And if you truly... And less now, because they figured out that we all need the money now because of the writer's strike, that we're all dying. So they now pay us less. So it's hard. Talking about middle class.
Is there a solution to it?
If there is, I'm not smart enough to come up with it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where if one person says, it's not enough money, they will. It's like a comic.
No, well,
I'm not doing it for that money. They'll find somebody else to scab to cross the line and do it for less.
For example, in 2007 on Harry's Law, I made $10,000, and then when I did Castle, I made $3,000. And the $3,000 after 25% commission to agents and managers and 30% taxes, I made nothing.
Yeah.
You know? But so that's why Jeffrey Wright was bagging groceries, you know, the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
It's like, because now we're all making crap. And you look at Jeffrey Wright's IMDb page, he did like 6 things this year.
Yeah.
That should have been enough 5 years ago, you know, but the money's gone down.
You seen the resurgence of good television recently, considering that we're starting to see a lot of online
We're
streaming
seeing better
services.
stuff. We're seeing better stuff, but the money's less.
Is it?
Yeah. It looks like, from the outside, it looks like the golden age of acting, but it's not. But I love Netflix. I love Impractical Jokers. I love fucking Ozark. I love it. You know, I fucking watch these shows and I dig them. And they're great, and I wish I was on them, but I also know that they're not making as much money as we think they are.
Right.
The producers are.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, that's fine. And everything turns negative after a while. If you let me
Well,
go on
fuck
it.
no, but one of the things that I like about this, and that us seemingly, at least from the feedback I'm getting, is my audience likes, is they don't want to be bullshitted. Like this is. Yeah. They get to see everything when they're watching TV or whatever, and then they get to come here and they actually get to hear a little bit of honesty and what shit's really like.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was it? Dave Chappelle was like, every time somebody sees an actor who leaves or disappears for a while, everyone's like, oh, what's wrong with that person or whatever?
Yeah.
What happened to him, whatever. And he said, maybe it's not the person, maybe it's that the industry we're in is sick.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
agree with
mean?
that. Like, for example, I've been watching Becker. I love MeTV.
Okay.
MeTV is a channel that plays everything from the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
I DVR Barney Miller. I DVR WKRP in Cincinnati.
Wow, classic.
I DVR Benson just to get a little diet in there. And I look at Robert Guillaume, first of all, and I go, Robert Guillaume was great. And nobody credits him for being one of the first black people to do fucking great shit.
Right.
He's never on the list, but he's fucking great. Really funny. And he was a positive. He was the governor's budget, guy. So anyway, I forgot where I was going with this. So MeTV, they have a show called Becker.
Yeah.
Now on
Is that the one with Ted Danson?
Yeah.
Ted Danson, yeah.
And it was a good show. And then they got rid of the romantic lead and they got rid of the bad guy. And then they replaced them both. Now the people they replaced them with are fine, but it was like the bad guy drove the script. Like Shelley Long drove the script on Cheers.
Right.
Like her performance, not only did the character
Oh, it
drive the
changed so much when she left.
Yeah, well, not only did the character drive the script, but her performance drove everybody's performance. So this bad guy, whose name I don't even know, he played Jimmy, he pushed everything. And then they got rid of him for whatever reason. So who knows what the reason was. Maybe he just wanted a fucking a $50 fucking raise. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So they got rid of him and her, and then the show wasn't good anymore. And you wonder, they always blame the guy. They blame the guy. Like I did a show where they wanted to write more fat jokes about me. And I told them, I'm not emotionally strong enough to have my weight being ridiculed by other people on television week after week.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't I just leave? And this way I can be friends with you. I can be friends with Warner Brothers. And why don't we just part ways?
Yeah.
And they said, no, they want you. Then they proceeded to do more fat jokes. And of course, I wasn't emotionally strong enough to handle it. So I spoke up here and there, and then they got rid of me. And now they blame me. But is it really me when I told them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
No, I agree 100%. I had a show that was a stupid little web series that was going to give me they weren't even going to pay me for the day. I didn't know that. They're like, hey, we want you for this thing on a show, whatever, a web series. I go, cool. How does it pay? And they're like, well, let me get back to you. Text message 15 minutes later. Oh, we can give you $100 for an hour. And I'm like, okay, well, for acting it's still not enough, but I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. I'm an up and coming up. This is years ago. Yeah. And they're like, they want you to play a dinosaur. And I was like,
dinosaur.
Okay. And it turned out that these kids were doing a telethon to raise money. It was a kids show. Raise money for telethon to buy the world's last living dinosaur. And when they get it, it's a fat guy who comes out of a crate and is like, oh, I'm a dinosaur. It was goofy. But they asked me okay, so can you wear this? Like they wanted me to wear, these Hawaiian shorts and a Hawaiian shirt with my shirt open and my belly hanging out. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable enough in my body to do that. I said, no. They're like, could you just actually have no shirt at all? Would you just take the shirt? And I go, no, I won't. Come on. Really? No, you're not paying me enough for that. And the idea that it's, and then they hand me the sandwich. We got you a sandwich once to hold too. It was just the fat, be fat and fucking.
No, I've tried to share this with some comics, how I felt, and they didn't understand. And they got on my ass about it. But I was like, there are some guys that are cool with it. I am not.
Yeah.
So why should I be forced or made to feel bad about doing something I didn't want to do?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like if they wanted to make me a regular from recurring, maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't. They wanted me to be recurring with the same bad money and to have actors who I was way better than tell me I was ugly and tell me I couldn't get laid. Like the pilot, I was a bigamist and had 6 wives. Now suddenly I've never been laid.
Right.
And I'm looking at the writers, and I'm seeing the writers' wives, and I go, your wife is disgusting. I was like, my girlfriend is at home, and she's way better looking than your wife, and you're telling America I can't get laid?
Yeah.
And then they go, well, you're playing a part. No, I'm not. I'm playing a part, sure, but they're talking about my body.
Yeah.
This is my body. You want to put me in prosthetics and make me fatter? Sure.
Yeah.
But you're not doing that. You're sending me, like, you know.
Yeah, and you're reinforcing that. You're telling the
Yeah. And some actors would be fine with that.
Right.
I talked to, I don't even know if he wants to be brought up. I talked to a guy from Mike and Molly, not Billy Gardell.
Okay.
I talked to another heavyset actor on that show who's a friend of mine. And he goes, yeah. He's like, you should have just kept your mouth shut and done it. He's like, I've been in that position before. You know, and so he was like, it made me very uncomfortable, but I did it. It's like, for you, he's made a very good point. He goes, for you, it's a week, but really it's 5 seconds on a television screen. And I go, okay, that's a very good point. So yeah, I'm being ridiculed for a week in rehearsal, but really it's 5 seconds on TV. So he made a very good point. So since then, I've adapted and let them make fun of me a little more.
But it exists forever. If it's something it's like, yeah, everyone's saying it all week. I get it.
There's pros and cons. All I knew is I told them I wasn't going to be able to handle it very well. And they were like, sure. And then it just got worse and worse. Literally, there was a joke about me being sweaty because I was fat.
Okay.
So they didn't tell me that they were going to throw water on me. So literally they go, action, and they threw water on me. And I had to just act. And I did the scene, and I got up and went to the writers and said, what the fuck? And I complained.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the reason they let me go, because I came over to them and complained. But really, you can't say that this is me, because that's unheard of.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Like I remember, who is that? Patty Duke. Patty Duke's son is Sean Astin from Goonies, and also Mackenzie Astin. Mackenzie Astin was on a TV show as a little kid, and there was a scene where he had to cry. So before they started the scene, they just sprayed his eyes with shit, and he was upset because it hurt.
Yeah.
And he was a little kid, and Patty Duke showed up and yelled at the entire cast and crew for doing that to her son. Now, she knows that that's fucked up to do. But the show couldn't take the blame, much like the comedy clubs with the bad waitresses. They can't take the blame. I'm the one who's to blame, so I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who had a bad rep there for a year. Because they couldn't just say it was their fault.
Well, that's one of the biggest things people have issue with is taking accountability.
Yeah.
It's like
and I have problems with that too. I get it. That's how I noticed. That's why I recognize what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, they threw water on me. It was fucked up. They didn't even tell me about it.
Well, and that's like I said, that's the part too. Is I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, "Hey, I don't feel emotionally strong with this." And yeah, okay, like it's 5 seconds on film, and I get that. So in terms of just the experience, this is what we film. This is what shows. But at the end of the day, that's there forever. And I can see people like let's say that builds the popularity or whatever. All right, now you got people coming up on the street thinking they're part of it and they're trying to be funny. Now you got strangers saying shit like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
people
Like,
put cigarettes out in Curly's eyes. The Three Stooges.
Really?
That? Yeah.
Really?
They walk up to him and they put the cigarettes out in his eyes.
that's insane.
As if he was a cartoon character.
See, that wouldn't fly in any other job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. People just like they think we're clowns. They think I don't give a fuck, and it's like
What I hate is when an audience member heckles me with an evil heckle, and then then later on they want a picture of me. I go, oh no, thank you. And they go, why, you upset? I go, yeah. Like, you're a comic. You should be able to take it. I'm like, what makes you think that? Did anything in my mouth on stage make fun of anybody for the way they look?
yeah.
So why did you think it was okay to do to me? And I don't do that. There's different types of comics.
Yeah.
There's Dennis Miller. There's Eddie Griffin. There's very different types of this. A huge spectrum. The Stephen Wright, the fucking Earthquake. There's a fucking huge difference.
Yeah.
And you can't say that Earthquake should be able to handle what Stephen Wright handles, and Stephen Wright should be able to handle what Earthquake handles. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
weird.
at the same time, why is yelling something derogatory at like why? Again, we're not a fucking dancing bear.
Yeah.
We're not here for you to just throw shit at me and do this and that. No, that's part of it. Stand up comedy is you sit there and be quiet. I'm gonna talk. If it's funny, you laugh. That's
Yeah.
it. Not try to make it about you. And,
Yeah. It's the only job, I always say, it's the only job in the world where people show up and talk. Like, you don't go see a live band and start playing a trombone in the crowd, but yet somehow this is acceptable. And I think I know why. Because every time there's a movie about stand-up comedy, or every time there's a TV show where they involve stand-up comedy, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Carlton becomes a stand-up.
Yeah.
There's always a heckle scene because they're interesting.
Yeah.
So that's why they think this is part of the fucking job.
Yeah.
But it's not. I just got off a fucking airplane. You think I flew here saying, I hope somebody interrupts me for the entire time?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
People would yell, like people yell at movie theaters. People would yell more in movie theaters if the movie stopped and responded to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for their little moment of fame. I'm going to be a part of this. People yell out during tapings because they want to be heard on the recording.
I'll ask you a question. Every comic I know feels this way. Worst, okay, whether it's a person or persons,
Okay.
worst people to have in the crowd. I'm sure you
Cool.
Bachelorette parties.
got
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
Nothing worse than
Without
a
a
group
doubt.
of women.
Yeah.
A group of women feel empowered.
Chatty.
And you become the person in charge. So now you're the target for everything that they felt held them down their entire life. As if somehow I went to their house and held them down.
Yeah.
So they come after me. I'm just telling poo-poo jokes.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
And they're
Oh,
they're entitled and they're feeling like
Yeah.
it's their
It's
time.
our
and-
night, so it's all
Yeah.
about us. And it's not about you.
Yeah, not about you.
It's
But-
all about you. Yeah.
And I like making them upset when I know the club takes my back.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just fake it. I hope things are good. Congratulations. Best of luck. I just keep killing them with
Nope.
kindness.
I've got a canned thing that I say every time. I seem to win the crowd over with it every time.
What's that?
It's
I'll
my
borrow
go-to. Sure. What I say to them is every time there's like hot chicks or whatever that just won't shut up, whatever, I go, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And they'll be like, what's that? Like they think it's going to be positive. So they give me a little cute. I go, you can't pull that cute shit on me. So here's the thing. A lot of hot girls don't know this, but ladies, your powers only work on guys that think they can fuck you. I know exactly what I look like.
funny.
Your shit doesn't work with me. I go, and you might not know this either, but I can make me come faster than you can. So shut the fuck up.
That's funny. That's
You're like,
funny.
oh, it's just, and the crowd loves it because again, all of them think I got to be nice to these girls. So to just see
it's
someone
fun.
like
That's
me
great.
just take
Yeah,
them
yeah.
down and be like, you're fucking nothing.
That's brilliant. Yeah. No, sometimes when this used to happen a lot, I always think that guys heckle female comics and females heckle guy comics because they don't feel there's any retribution going to happen because of the opposite sex.
Right.
But I haven't been heckled by a guy in a long time. And usually when I used to go after his girlfriend. And it was always awesome because I was like, you're going to fuck with my livelihood?
Yeah.
Now, you don't know that maybe I won't be invited back because of this. So I go after the guys. I go after the guy, his girlfriend, because I know that they're going to have a fight later because of this. And she's going to blame him. So I always say, lady, why are you dating an asshole like that? I was like, a lot of girls date assholes and they think, oh, you don't know him like I do. It's like, yeah, he's an asshole to us. He's nice to you because you fuck him. You fill him full of asshole confidence and he goes out and he's an asshole to the rest of us. So that makes you an asshole. So now you're 2 assholes. Now you're going to have a kid. That's 3 assholes. And plus all the nice guys you turned down, they're all going to be assholes too. So now we got 16, 17 assholes walking around all because you had to be a whore. And the crowd usually goes crazy. And then the 2 of them are going to have an argument later. And I got the guy back. I tagged him back. Fuck you.
Circle of life.
Yeah. But I haven't had to do that in a while because only women have heckled me lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get heckled a lot, which is fun.
Well, heckle doesn't mean in America. Heckled means interruption to me.
That's
But also, I'm going to say this: in Canada, I've been heckled twice. Once was by a guy on coke in Montreal, and once was by an American in Edmonton.
yeah.
And I play Canada a lot.
It doesn't happen as much in Canada, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if the crowds are more
Canada's nice.
respectful. Yeah.
They're nice, and America's all about me, 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 me.
But I've seen shows where there was someone who was just they wouldn't stop talking. They're interrupting constantly. But I also do a lot of crowd work, so I'll go up real early and fucking almost
Yeah, you get a lot of
establish dominance,
Yeah.
and then they kind of go, I don't know if I want to engage in
Yeah,
that.
good for you. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't deliberate. I actually got to a point in my career where I wasn't writing ever, and I was sick of the jokes. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just talk to them and force myself to work some sort of
Yeah.
comedy muscle. So I
Good
just
for you.
did several years of just crowd work, which is lazy, but
I understand.
that muscle
I'm
worked.
not going to judge you for that.
Thanks,
Do you
Lauren.
find the audiences lately have been getting smarter about it? Like I feel like back in the day they were,
Depends where you are.
respected. Yeah.
I do think all rooms are the same, but it all depends on who's there. If you get a mix, it's good. But there are some clubs that want to hear the same jokes all the time. Like, there's a club in Cleveland. I'm not going to say which one. They want to hear the same shit all the time. White people are dicks. White girls like black guys. Black guys have bad credit. They just want to hear those jokes over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't do that.
They want to hear like the hacky stereotypical
Like, I'm
shit.
not going to change who I am just because this is what you want to hear. And so what I do is I just get through that week and always try to play their competition. And I love doing that. I love like doing bad in a room and then going across town and playing their competition because I know they see it and I know they don't understand. And then they've called me sometimes. So you're playing there now? Well, yeah. Well, how come? Well, because you guys fucking yelled at me. I'm like, okay. So now I'm over here. And they like me here. So I'm going to be playing here for now. I fucking really get a thrill out of that. I've done it in Arizona. I've done it in fucking Cleveland. I'll always do it. And I go after that club. Like, I'll write them once a month just to fucking, I'm going to get that fucking club. I'm going to fucking upset this club. I have a little grudge. I have a little chip on my shoulder sometimes. Anyway.
So you went, what I wanted to know is, I meant to ask this earlier, is you were in New York.
Yeah.
Heyday. Amazing fucking lineups, like you said, in the clubs.
Wonderful.
Did you move here? Like, what brought you here?
The TV show. I did a pilot in 2001 called Everything But the Girl. It had Tiffany Amber Thiessen in it. It had Mackenzie Aston, which I've been talking about before, and a bunch of other guys. And it was written by Steve Korn, who wrote Saturday Night Live, wrote for Saturday Night Live, and wrote for Seinfeld, the show. So he had his own pilot, and they flew me out to audition for it, and I got it. And then they flew me out to do it 2 weeks, and then I flew home. And then I got a phone call saying that one of the writers of that show had another show, and he would like me to read for that show. So I read for that show in New York, and then 2 days later I got the part and had 3 days to move. I literally had 3 days to fucking
Jesus
move.
Christ.
So I just, I had a roommate at the time. I wrote a check for the rest of the 6 months. I think I left most of my shit in my room. Poor guy. He's still pissed at me. And I just moved to fucking California. Stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks. Michael Jackson was on the floor above me. I remember. I think he might have been not in the room above me, but he was right above
The floor.
Yeah, it's on the floor.
me. Yeah, and I stayed there for so long that they started to get worried. I was gonna run out, skip out in the building. They would come up and knock on my door and go, "You okay?" And there would just be like literally room service carts all over the place. I just locked the room and smoked weed and acted. But it was tremendous fun, and the career started. I really do think if it wasn't for that writer strike and it wasn't for losing my momentum, I lost my powerful agents. And I do think that if that hadn't happened, I'd be working still as a regular on stuff. But it's like, I remember talking to Tracy Morgan.
Okay.
And Tracy Morgan was like, how could you be blaming the writer strike? He's like, you can't, you keep using that excuse. And I was like, you were famous already, man. You were fucking on Saturday Night Live, and you were on 30 Rock during the writer strike.
Yeah.
It's like, you were famous already. That's not fair.
Yeah.
You know? It's like the rest of us, I know people who had to move, they're not here anymore. And guys who lost their houses. I know guys who committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because their careers stopped because of the writer strike. Whether they were writers or actors. Like, you have a certain window to make it. And if you can have a comeback.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, dude, you're doing the One Man Podcast. This is the beginning.
I really think this is the big step back,
The
guys.
stepping stone for
This
you.
is the first step.
Yeah.
There might be a very long period of time before the next one, but if anything, I'm taking credit for this big.
Sounds good. We talked about a lot of shit. A lot of shit I don't even bring up on podcasts. You guys got it.
Hey, well, I appreciate
I think it was the donuts and the weed.
Yeah, that's it.
I definitely was very relaxed. I told you some stories I never say on podcasts.
Well, thanks, dude.
You're welcome.
I always love talking with you. It's never
Yeah,
boring.
Josh,
Honestly,
yeah.
Brian, it's never boring.
No, thanks.
Which sounds like a weird thing to say. So, hey, it's never boring.
No.
But it's always a blast. You know, weed's legal in Canada now, eh?
I know. But to be honest with you, I always thought it was.
Yeah, we
acted
acted
like
like
it was.
Yeah. Now it's
I was
official.
smoking on the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember being in Edmonton smoking it in front of the mall.
Yeah.
Like, now it turns out I shouldn't have been doing that the whole
It's
time.
basically it's less fun now because you're allowed to.
Oh, that's funny. Thanks guys, for protecting me up there. Yeah, but I'm looking for. I'll probably be back in June. I got to get a hold of Jay.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm looking for is June or July or May, actually. Oh, I got a May date. That's right.
That'd be nice.
And then I got a May
weather
date
will be
somewhere
decent.
else. Well, I think so. We'll see if he goes for it. I purposely didn't book it this year because I wanted to switch to the summer. because I know he was tired of having me there for Christmas anyway. The Christmas parties need other comics. Can't be me every year.
Right.
So I was like, I might just take a break, and just get basically playing Absolute with the exchange rate and the fact you're there for a week. You're not pocketing a lot of money,
right.
But it basically is a free flight home to New York.
That's right.
So I'm going to treat it like that.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Have you done New Year's yet?
What, Absolute?
At Absolute.
No. What happens then?
Just it's more money because it's New Year's, right? So the special shows, they pay more. There's 2 shows. But if you do that, if you've done the Christmas, there's not a lot of Christmas parties that week. So the week of Christmas and New Year's.
I like being in New York for New Year's. This year I'll be in Tampa.
Oh,
Right.
But it's I like the club a lot. The club is fucking awesome. It's full of Italian New Yorkers, which is weird because it's in Florida. So it's like Italian New Yorkers in shorts.
retired.
Well, yeah, so then I feel very comfortable because I'm an Italian New Yorker. So it pretty much is a whole audience full of those people. It's a great club called Side Splitters.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful club.
I've heard of
Wonderful club. Owner's fucking funny. But so yeah. But yeah. I love New York for Christmas. New York's way to be for Christmas. For New Year's.
I want to go for New Year's. I've never seen.
Don't
the ball
go to
drop.
Times Square.
Not even once to get it out of your fucking system.
I've lived there, and I never went there for Times Square.
Never.
Not for New Year's Eve. No.
You still to this day have
Still,
never
and
seen
I
the
would
ball drop on
never-
New Year's Eve.
Never will.
Not worth it.
Really?
Why stand in a crowd?
Do you have any other acting gigs coming up that you're excited about? You can
this year
talk
I had,
about.
I
Or?
had 6 things this year, and they all aired already.
Good.
Yeah. So what was fun about this year is that I knew I had another one already coming out. So I was like, I did Superior Donuts. They edited it pretty tightly, and I was like, well, at least I'm Dying Up Here coming up, and then I'm Dying Up Here aired. I was happy with that.
Were you season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it yet, dude. I'm so
It was a
excited.
really fast part. But they left it all in. Like, it was something that was performance oriented, and they left it in. And I had a Snapple commercial where I played a fucking mango.
I saw that on your Instagram, which I want to share with everybody because your Instagram's fucking great.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny.
just-
So funny.
I did one today where I'm like scared in a car wash.
Oh,
Like, I'm
really?
like a dog in a car wash, terrified.
I like
was
the TV one with all the jingles.
Yeah,
That was just from, like, yesterday,
I've been
the day
sitting on it
before?
for a while. I literally had to write them all down because I was like, this is going to be work. But I'd still forgot one. JG Wentworth. You guys have that up there?
I've heard
JG Wentworth, 877 Cash now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yes.
of course, yeah, we've heard
That
that.
was the big. I forgot that one, but I put them all up there.
I like your cuts too, where it's like you're looking at the last cut, but it's clearly not there. So you'll do something, and then you'll
I'll move
change
it.
angles.
Yeah.
But then you're bringing your head over from where the last one was.
Yeah, I want people to
love that shit.
understand that it's a
Yeah,
different.
it's not just a different angle, but it's the move from the last angle to the new one. Like you have a 3-camera shoot or whatever going on. I fucking love it.
Thanks,
Makes me laugh my fucking ass.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's those little extra things. It's extra performance. It's extra value. It's extra production value.
Shows
But
experience.
Instagram wants you. These people want you to spend $50 to get 100,000 followers, and I ain't gonna do it.
No,
I'm
fuck
not gonna do
that.
it. Like, I'm not sure what kind of money they're making.
I have all sorts of tips people have taught me to get Instagram followers, and they work. I just can't be bothered to do it.
I'm not gonna do it. But what happened? What kind of money do you make?
From Instagram?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm
of
saying,
any.
if I get 100,000 followers from Instagram, what am I going to do with that?
The argument that I've heard is just, well, if you have these followers and you tell them that you're going to be in your city, well, then they come. You've got people who are watching your advertisements for, hey, I'm here, come see it, versus paying Facebook to put your poster out everywhere. Now you get 100,000
I'm
people
not
seeing
paying.
it.
I haven't paid anybody, which is why I'm not getting paid. Holy shit! How long is this interview? 3 hours?
You want me to stop? Oh, we stopped. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just,
What
We're
time
gonna
is
wrap
it?
up.
we're losing
1:20.
momentum. All right. Well,
Well, I saw you yawn before.
oh, dude, it's because I'm not sleeping. We're at till fucking 2:00 in the morning.
Where do you
every
guys stay? In the
goddamn
hotel?
night. Airbnb.
Airbnb.
The Uber of hotels.
Now you're killing
Yeah.
the middle class of hotels.
Listen,
I
those,
understand that.
those hotel billionaires, they're suffering.
Yeah. That I understand.
Hilton,
That
no?
I understand that.
They're trying to buy a third private jet for their kids.
Yeah.
The worst was Calgary. Oh, that club in Calgary with the condo. Oh, that was the worst condo I've ever been in. It was an Airbnb. The entire house was an Airbnb, except for this one room they gave to comics. And it was a nightmare.
Sounds like it.
Stomping on your head, French screaming, fucking girls above you, stomping. It was a nightmare. It was one of the worst experiences I had on the road. And then when it ended, I went outside and I saw the Northern Lights. Never seen the Northern Lights before.
Wow.
So that was a good trip. Because it ended on that. That's one way, like if you're not on TV and you're playing the road, the one good thing is you have these little experiences. Like I can remember sitting in Ottawa, Absolute, having a great time with all the comics and the wait staff. That to me is why I play Ottawa, because I enjoy getting drunk with the wait staff.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the drinking bill afterwards.
Right.
They're like, okay, you drank. Wow, you drank a lot. That's because Canada measures their drinks.
Yep.
You know, fucking man.
Even it's more of a Jason measures the
Yeah.
drinks.
No,
kind of
but
thing.
every club I play in Canada, they measure their drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have
My
to.
knowledge.
actually.
Yeah.
Do you have to?
Yeah, under smart serve, you can't overserve.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Every
fuck.
club in Canada measures their drinks. It's annoying. I want
It is.
you know, but other clubs in Canada don't charge you. The Mix doesn't charge you,
That's what, Vancouver?
and the Nest doesn't
Yeah,
charge.
the
The
Mix
Nest and the
Vancouver.
Mist don't charge you.
Yeah, I'm not
The
sure.
Nest and the Mist, Nest and the Mix. The House of Comedy doesn't charge you.
You listening, Jason?
Yeah,
He's
listen
not
to-
listening.
I'll
I'll tell him. I'm gonna.
No,
put
don't
this-
tell him.
Stop being such a cheap fuck, Jay.
I'm an asshole.
Dude, you guys have no idea how many times I do interviews with comics.
There's
I'm
no way-
always shitting on Jay.
There's also 3 hours in it. I don't know if he's going to make it that far. But I like the guy and I like the club. And thanks. It was great seeing you.
Dude, always a pleasure seeing you. I thanks for the time. Man,
Sure.
inviting us to your
It was
home.
fun.
Cool. Where do I see
see-
you next?
Whoa, where am I performing next? I'm all over the place. I'm in dun, 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 dun.
Oh, he's pulling out the book. I got the music. The music's queuing up here.
Fucking okay. I'm at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Phoenix, November 1st through 3rd. I'm doing a benefit on November 10th in Chicago. Playing Pechanga Casino in Temecula, California, 15th through 18th. Then I'm playing Florida a lot. Coral Springs, West Palm Beach, Comedy Inn in Miami, followed by New York City, and then I'll be City Steam in Hartford at the end of December, and New Year's Eve in Side Splitters in Tampa. And then I'm playing The Nest in January.
That's fucking awesome, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for doing the show, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.